Niagara Amusement Park, or as I will probably end up calling it in this video, and for all time, Fantasy Island, will always be my home park. I grew up 5 minutes down the road from this place. Rode my first ever roller coaster. My first wooden coaster. It was also my first job in rides, where by the time I left, I was a supervisor. This place means a lot to me. So let's look at my rankings of the coasters of Martin's Fantasy Island, Niagara Amusement Park, past, present, and future. Before we start, if you could give this video a like, that would be great. It helps fight the YouTube algorithm. Also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, consider subscribing to see more content just like this. Thank you. According to Roller Coaster Database, there were 2 coasters that I couldn't find much info or pictures on. First, an Alan Herschel Little Dipper. Second, a Zamperla powered coaster called Dragon. Both of these lasted until the early to mid 90s, so right before I could 1, remember, and 2, have even visited the park. Number 6, Max's Doggy Dog Coaster. An SBF Visa Wacky Worm. Opened in 2013, closed in 2019. This was the last coaster addition to the park when it was known as Martin's Fantasy Island and owned by Martin DiPietro. This replaced the park's petting zoo. I went on this thing once, and if it wasn't for Gene Staples reopening the place, this would have been my last ever ride at the park. How sad would that have been? Thankfully, it won't be. It was a good kiddie coaster, something the park had been lacking for over a decade. Number 5, Orient Express, or as I called it, Dragon Coaster. A Wisdom Rides roller coaster that opened in 1998 and closed in 2003. I swear this thing was at the park longer, maybe 97 or 96, but we'll go off Roller Coaster Database and not my 4-year-old, 5-year-old memory. This was my first ever roller coaster, and I can remember marathoning it when I would visit when I was little. If I'm correct, it was located over by where Jack and the Beanstalk was. Comment down below and correct me if I'm wrong. It was a fun ride, and I enjoyed it as a kid. Number 4, Crazy Mouse, a Zamperla spinning mouse. Opened 2005, closed in 2019. I remember going in the summer of 05 at least twice. Once while they were still working and building this, and the ride's opening media day, morning. At the time, my mom worked at a local newspaper, so I got into the park an hour or so early and got to ride this thing as many times as I could during the preview. A spinning mouse is always a rush, mainly because of the unpredictable amount of spins on them. This one would spin most in the second half, after the big drop, and almost 99% of the time, you would come into the station backwards. It also had the individual T-bars and not the group ones, so this made for a more enjoyable ride. Number 3, Wildcat, a Schwarzkopf Wildcat. Opened 1974, closed 2004. This very well could have been my first big steel coaster, or it might have been Space Mountain at the Magic Kingdom. I honestly couldn't tell you which one it is. This was the only coaster at the park for the bigger kids until a certain Woody showed up. I remember this thing feeling like you were going to fly off the track, being crushed in the seats at the helix at the end, and how hard this thing slammed into the brakes. Don't miss that, but it was a good ride for what it was. This was replaced by the previously mentioned Crazy Mouse when it closed. Number 2, the unnamed Schwarzkopf Shuttle Loop, coming in either summer 22 or summer of 23. I'm purely just guessing based off my experience with Montezuma's Revenge and Knott's Berry Farm. That thing had an intense launch and loop and a great sense of speed. I hope I'm right on this guess. This will be the park's first launch and first looping coaster in the park's history, to my knowledge. It will also be one of only 2 flywheel launch coasters in North America. Number 1, Silver Comet. This CCI Woody opened in 1999, inspired by the Crystal Beach Comet. Fun fact, the Comet from Crystal Beach was stored at Fantasy Island prior to being moved and assembled at the Great Escape. This coaster has to be number 1. This coaster has an out-and-back twister layout that delivers a smooth ride with plenty of airtime and laterals, with an 82-foot drop and a top speed of 50 miles an hour and a length of 2,800 feet. It has delivered in its statement of being Western New York's newest and wildest wooden roller coaster. This is one ride I can't wait to get some re-rides on once the park reopens. What do you think of the coasters of Fantasy Island, Niagara Amusement Park? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, please give this video a like and consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you in the parks.